Hey y'all, this is Steven from Garage Gym Reviews Everything. For the last 2.5 years, I've been behind the scenes, writing everything from elliptical reviews to workout guides and more. But today, I'm stepping in front of the camera and into some frigid waters to review the Nordic Wave Viking XL Cold Plunge Tub. As a certified personal trainer, former rugby player, and someone who's put a barbell on his back more times than he can count, I'm a big believer in prioritizing your recovery just as much as your training. But if you're a bigger athlete like me, trying to squeeze into a cold plunge tub can be even more challenging than just trying to survive those first 30 seconds in that cold water. That's where the Viking XL comes in. Nordic Wave specifically designed this for taller athletes who need a little bit more space to recover at home. So if you want maximum comfort with zero compromises, let's dive right into the review. Anyone who's over 6 feet tall knows that getting into or out of a cold plunge tub is no easy feat. Luckily, the Viking XL caters exactly to those athletes by offering the largest and the most immersive cold plunge experience out of all the tubs in the Viking lineup. Designed to fit users up to 7 feet 4 inches tall, this vertical tub features dual interior steps that make it super easy to get in and out. After all, the last thing you need when your legs are feeling numb is to stumble out of this tub like you're a newborn deer getting onto the ice rink. Just like the other members in the Viking family, this tub gives you the best of both worlds. It runs off a 1 horsepower chiller that allows you to drop the temperature down to a chilly 35 degrees Fahrenheit, or you can heat things up to 104 degrees. So basically, you get a cold plunge and a hot tub all in one. And that dual functionality makes this a lot more versatile than just a basic cold plunge. Not all cold plunges are plug and play, but luckily the Viking XL has a straightforward setup that really shouldn't take you more than an hour. This unit arrives mostly assembled, but you will need a level surface, access to a standard outlet, a water source, and ideally a second person that's gonna help you put it in position. Nordic Wave will deliver the Viking XL to your desired location and unwrap it for you. Then all you gotta do is apply the Teflon tape around the fittings to ensure a watertight seal. No leaks here. All you're gonna have to do is hook up the quick connect hoses to connect the tub and chiller, fill it, and turn on the chiller to start the priming and cooling process. You shouldn't have much trouble, but if you do, you can always go on the Nordic Wave website and follow the video tutorial so you can make sure everything's set up correctly. Back in my college rugby days, our version of a cold plunge was basically filling a trash can with ice and water and praying for the best. Nowadays, I'm very lucky that I get to test out actual cold plunge tubs that are built with consistent performance in mind. The Viking XL is made of a roto-molded plastic that creates a super durable container that's also easier to clean since you're not dealing with all those nooks and crannies. It also features 2-inch foam insulated walls that help regulate the water temperature. This can actually keep more money in your pocket by keeping the cost of running the chiller lower. Plus, the tub has an insulated lid to prevent any debris from getting in when you're not using it. With a whopping 160-gallon capacity, the Viking is built for true full-body immersion. The vertical design means you can sit upright comfortably, not cram yourself in like an overloaded suitcase. For taller athletes like me, this makes a world of difference, especially if you're not a fan of lying down in horizontal tubs. Right off the bat, I love the barrel-like design of this tub. I'm about 6'2", so I prefer being in that squatted position where I can just rest and not put any pressure on my joints. Now, even though our team enjoyed the 2nd gen version of this tub, one of our testers, who's also over 6 feet tall, said he had some trouble feeling a bit cramped when he got inside there. You're not gonna have to worry about that with the XL. I was able to fully submerge and still have plenty of room to go. So this is definitely better for those bigger athletes out there. I really like how easy it is to change the settings right on the front of the chiller. And if that's not what you want, you can also use the Nordic Flow app to control everything right from your phone. So if you're on the way home from work or the gym, you can set the chiller to whatever temperature you need and it'll be ready right when you get there. That being said, I do have a few call outs. First, Nordic Wave claims on their site that this can fit 1.5 to 2 people. That's just not the case. I'm a big guy and I fit in here comfortably just on my own. There's definitely not room for a second person. So if you want to be comfortable, this is really just cold plunge for one. Secondly, the chiller isn't ridiculously loud, but it's definitely going to produce some noise. You're going to want to keep this in mind if you're going to use this early in the morning or late at night, because you don't want to disturb your family, your friends, your neighbors, or even your pet. Last, the dual interior steps for getting in and out, they're really small. Okay, I have pretty big feet and I basically missed the step when I got in there. So I wish they were bigger. It would have made it a lot easier for me to get in and out of the tub. Again, a small gripe, but it's definitely something to keep in mind if you expected to get in and out of this thing super easy. Despite having XL in its name, this tub is actually fairly footprint friendly. It weighs 75 pounds when empty and measures 43 inches wide, 33 inches deep, and 48 inches high. Obviously, the vertical design is more accommodating for smaller spaces than horizontal tubs that take up more room. In fact, if you look at some customer reviews, you'll actually find photos showing the Viking tub connected and filled with water inside the customer's bathroom. Now, I doubt most of you are going to take that route, but it is worth noting that you can use this in indoor or outdoor settings. Just be aware, there aren't any handles, so moving this thing can be a bit tricky. Once you fill it, I recommend you leave it be. As always, measure your space beforehand so you don't run into any issues later. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a bit compulsive when it comes to cleaning. I'm a big stickler for keeping things neat, and when you're spending thousands on a cold plunge tub, you should take the same approach. Luckily, the Viking XL has some design features that make cleaning and draining pretty easy. First, it has a sloped floor and a dedicated drain valve with garden hose threading. This is ideal if you plan to set it up outdoors or in your garage. There's also a filtration system that helps keep the water clean. Nordic Wave recommends replacing the filter once a month, and you can always go on their website to buy more filters. With the Premier version re-reviewed in 2025, our team used a water pump to drain the tub. Now, Nordic Wave says you don't need a pump, but we still recommend it, especially because this version holds 65 more gallons than its little brother. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. This is a premium cold plunge, and you get what you pay for. This thing has excellent heating and cooling capabilities, it's well insulated, and it has plenty of features and a thoughtful design that make it accommodating to any body type. Now, let me warn you, this thing won't cost you an arm and a leg, but it might cost you one of them. Nordic Wave lists this for $8,500, although we have seen it on sale for as low as $7,000. We do like that it's HSA and FSA eligible, which means you can use your pre-tax dollars to make this purchase a little more manageable. So, just like you have to decide if cold plunging is worth the pain and suffering, I promise you it is. You're gonna have to decide if spending this amount of money is worth it for your recovery. Now, we do give Nordic Wave credit for offering free FedEx white glove delivery, and the company says all orders ship within 48 business hours. They also include a 5-year warranty on the tub and a 1-year warranty on the chiller. I'll be honest, we'd like to see a little longer for the chiller, especially since that's really what's doing all the work. So you're gonna have to keep that in mind if you want a little bit more peace of mind with your warranty. Now, who should get this? The Viking XL is tailor-made for taller athletes like myself who want that comfortable cold plunge experience with precise temperature control. Based on its price point, this is best suited for anyone who's gonna make cold plunging a consistent staple of their recovery routine. This is something you can use a couple times a week, either to start your morning or after your workout. It's definitely a higher priced tub that caters to luxury shoppers. It's not a budget-friendly option. This is also fantastic if you don't have room for a horizontal tub. The vertical design reduces its footprint, making it ideal for small spaces. Finally, if you want a cold plunge and a hot tub all in one, this is one of the better options on the market. We also like the Polar Monkey's BrainPod 2.0 for this exact reason, but that tub is more expensive and it only comes with a 1-year warranty. So, if you like the Viking's versatility and vertical design, it may be a better long-term investment. Now, who shouldn't get this? The Viking XL isn't for everyone. As I've told you a few times, this is not budget friendly. It's expensive. If you have a limited budget, this is not the tub for you. Instead, I'd suggest something like the Polar Dive Pro, which costs well under $2,000. You can also check out our best cold plunge roundup on our website for other affordable options. If you prefer to lie down or sit in a tub, I'd also recommend looking elsewhere. You're gonna want a horizontal tub, something like the Plunge Air or something similar to that, which is gonna be better for your preferences. For me, I love the vertical design, but for others, it may not be as comfortable. Coming from someone whose first cold plunge experience was literally getting in a trash can full of ice and water, I'm really blessed that I get to test something as refined as the Nordic Wave Viking XL. Now, if you guys want more video reviews on recovery equipment, check out the GGRE YouTube channel. We have a ton of things covered. I gotta get going and get ready for my next workout. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll catch you on the next video.